that time. Facebook. Oh yeah. Big on the podcast. Phantom J. DJ Black. DJ Austin. Time to get live.
For years, our family has fought for the truth to come to light concerning his murder, and we'd like our father to receive the justice that he deserves. The truth about the circumstances leading to the death of our father is important, not only to his family, but to many followers, many admirers, many who look to him for guidance, for love. And it is our hope that litigation of this case will finally provide some unanswered questions. We want justice served for our father.
Facebook, what's going on? What's going on? It's Phantom J. It's Phantom J, man. There was a clip that was taken from one of the daughters of Malcolm X. Right now, they're filing a $100 million lawsuit, wrongful death lawsuit, to sue the FBI, CIA, and the NYPD that was responsible for the death of their father, Malcolm X. There were two brothers that were wrongfully convicted of the murder of Malcolm X, and they were exonerated. They served over 27 years in prison. We met Brother Aziz and the other brother, and they were awarded $36 million in a settlement. I think Brother Aziz right now is living. He's going to receive $27 million in a settlement. We're going to keep our ears open, eyes open on this case, but it's vindication because for so long, they said that the Nation of Islam was responsible when it's coming out that it wasn't the case. And their children, the daughters, and the children of Malcolm X is seeking justice, and hopefully they're gonna get that justice. They're seeking for $100 million on a lawsuit, man, for their father. We want to thank just everyone for coming out, man. It's Phantom J, man. Let's get to it. We got that news. We got some more news in the pipeline, man. And we're looking at old R. Kelly, man. R. Kelly. We know I heard about the news, R. Kelly, man. Let's dive into it. Right now, we can see right now, man, R. Kelly was sentenced to 20 years in prison for sex crimes against children. His time is going to run concurrent with the current 30 years that he has. And he said he was convicted of 6 charges, including coercing minors into sexual activity and producing sex tapes involving a minor. And that when it's running concurrently, it's going to run with the time that he has. The 30-year sentence is going to run together on that, man. And they got R. Kelly, man. And it's sad and unfortunate that, man, just such a talented singer, man, is going through the things that he's going through. And man, he went down like this. It's sad news, that this happening to him, man. And this is something else, bro. We just gonna keep moving forward, man. All of us heard his songs. But that whatever he's struggling with and whatever he got going, that's what's happening with R. Kelly, man. He got sentenced to an additional 20 years, but it's gonna run concurrent with the 30. So, man, it's unfortunate for him, man. So we gonna keep him in our prayers, man, and just keep this thing moving. Man, we also know that the brat, 46 years old, man, she's pregnant. She's pregnant right now. Her and her wife, Jessica Judy Harris Depart, are expecting the baby, of course, through in vitro fertilization. Brat really didn't know. She spoke on that she really didn't think it was in the cards for her to have children. And they tried before, and her wife tried to have children, but to no avail. They had a miscarriage, but now she's having a baby, her and her wife. And congratulations to them. They want to start a family. And he says it's been quite a journey, says the brat, who admits that at 48, there's a lot of stuff we've learned about women over 40. The couple's road to motherhood started around the time they did. They said "I do" back in February 2nd of last year. Harris Depart, 41 years old, CEO of Kaleidoscope Hair Products, was in the midst of launching a new line inspired by the brat and her iconic braids, protective hairstyle. They started as a joke, but they eventually they evolved into a family, man. And they're expecting their first child. We're going to keep everybody abreast on that, man. So that's happening right now. And we're just going to keep that moving with that as well. So that's the thing that's popping. Also, man, Kanye West is in the news. But this is basically dealing with a rumor, and it ain't necessarily fact. So dealing with the rumor, man, it ain't something that we'll just share, necessarily through the grill, but it's just a rumor that they want to, Adidas want to do business with him. It remains to be seen if this gonna be the case. So we just gonna keep our eyes and ears open with Kanye West. The Adidas have lost 1.3 billion, and they can't really sell the Yeezys brand. They were trying to repurpose it, but it's yet to be seen if they're gonna get Kanye back on board to sell the brand, because that's a lot of money to lose. That can cause a company to shut down if you lose 1.3 billion and you can't really use it to move it. And a lot of us know that we only got Yeezys because of Kanye. So, man, it's going to be something that remains to be seen. And we're going to look at it and just see what's happening on that, man. And, they're saying that it's happening, but we don't know yet. But it's just rumblings right now that they want to do a deal with Kanye, and it remains to be seen. Last but not least, in our news cycle, man, we're going to deal with the killer of Nipsey Hussle, man. The killer of Nipsey Hussle. We can look at this. Killer of Nipsey Hussle was sentenced to 60 years to life in prison. The killer of celebrated Los Angeles rapper was sentenced Wednesday after legal drama that dragged for 3 years. Eric Holder, 33 years old, will likely remain in jail for the rest of his life for the murder of Nipsey Hussle. Hussle, born Ermias Joseph Oskadon, his Egyptian name, or Ethiopian name, I'm sorry. was a Grammy-nominated rapper, entrepreneur, and philanthropist who was fatally shot in 2019 outside the Marathon clothing store he owned in South LA. He was 33 years old. Eric Holder was sentenced to 50 years to life for his role in killing, as well as 10 years for the shooting two other people that day. Superior Judge H. Clay Jack II handed down the sentence to Holder in Los Angeles. He said, "I'm very mindful of what was presented to me, presented as Mr. Holder's mental health." Jack said, according to the Associated Press, "I'm also mindful of the devastation caused to the victims and their family. I believe this sentence was balanced too." So he got, man, 60 years of life for the killing Nipsey Hussle, man. And we seen Nipsey Hussle, man, and celebrated Nipsey Hussle, man. And it was, it was unfortunate that I heard of Nipsey Hussle, but I didn't listen to Nipsey Hussle until towards the end of his life. And it was unfortunate that I really get to appreciate the rapper after he was murdered, man, and the things that he did in the community, man, was profound. Of course, he was the generation behind me, but man, he done some great things, man. Had now his brother got doing a collective with he's in the cannabis industry, and he's doing a collective to carry his brother's name on. Man, they're doing good, in Los Angeles, man, and they got the city behind them, and they doing their thing. And we just, justice is served for Nipsey Hussle. The killer's getting 60 years to life. So it does look like he's probably going to do no less than 60. When they say 60 years of life, it could be a minimum of 60 with a maximum of a life sentence. It didn't say it's no possibility of parole, so he can parole up based on his behavior, based on, what other circumstances can happen. But the man got at least 60 years. And his life is basically over with for killing Nipsey. So, man, we just gonna keep that going. Man, tonight, man, we want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, man. Tonight, we dealing with a topic me and Black talked about. And it's a little serious topic. And we wanted to, we're going to get out here and talk about it, man. And the one thing that we want to deal with, man, is promiscuity among women. Being promiscuous among women, do it affect you as a woman? Do promiscuity affect you as a woman? What is it about, or are you respected as a woman when you're promiscuous? What is it? Is it the difference when men and women? It said, why does the thought of women being promiscuous still get frowned upon in today's society? We're gonna look at that and what's happening, and then, we're gonna go forward with that. Man, to be promiscuous is to have multiple sexual partners. To be promiscuous in today's society, a lot of people are into that. The young people into it. I know when we were coming up, a lot of us were into it. But when you're dealing with a woman, what is it about it that society frowns on a woman and really celebrates a man for having a lot of women, but don't celebrate a woman for having a lot of men? What is it that she's called a hoe for having a lot of sex partners, and the man is called a player? What is it about a woman that is frowned upon on having multiple sex partners? And we're gonna talk about that tonight, man. It's something in our community, man, that people do. Some people, they engage in the lifestyle. They go on through their life. They call it their whole phase. They go through their life. They have sex with who they want to have with. And as human beings, we have a free will. God gave us a free will. Regardless of what religious persuasion you are, God gave us a free will. and you can do what you want to do. So people say, and especially women, they say, I can do what I want to do. And you're absolutely correct. You can do what you want to do. But doing what you want to do, man and woman, carries consequences. So if you ready for the consequences, to each his own. You know, a lot of times, in one study shows that with promiscuity, women have a difficult time. Women and men really have a difficult time bonding in relationships. Bonding in relationships. You can't, because you're having so many sexual partners that the partner that you with may not be as good as the partner that you had last, and you in bed comparing him to your previous partner. Because sex is a powerful thing. Sex is from Allah, and it's a powerful thing. It's a thing that God gave us to procreate and to show love towards one another. But what society has done, they have misused sex and used it as a tool instead of for it in its proper place. Through sex, we produce families. Through sex, it's an expression that we give one another when we love each other. But now sex is used as a tool. Prostitution. Prostitution now is not just on the street corner. Prostitution can be used in the form of, I'm going to give my husband some sex tonight because I want some new shoes. So if I get these new shoes, I want some new shoes. So I'm going to give him a little sex to entice him to give me these new shoes, to give me these things. Or I see a nice looking woman, you see a nice looking woman, and she tell you, you want to enjoy me, you want to be with me, you got to pay me. Though it's not overtly shown in a lot of cases, but in major cities, prostitution is alive and well. But just among us, we're not really admitting that on a lower level, we do some prostitution. We do prostituting. Now, some may argue that having multiple sex partners, there's nothing wrong with that. But how can we say there's nothing wrong with that when people are affected by the act of having sexual partners? In the scripture, in the Bible, they talk about concubines, and concubines are no more in the rulers in the land. That type of practice, polyamory, and having concubines and having sexual partners outside of your marriage, that's really was practiced by the rich and the ruling class because they can afford that. In that, it's expensive dealing in that type of lifestyle. How I say it's expensive? You're gonna have to pay one way or another when you're dealing in that type of lifestyle. Either you having sex with this person, that person. The price can be that you losing that bonding you can have with somebody you come along, and that person that you looking for, or the person that you need in your life, you overlook that person or you hurt that person, and later on realizing how good this person was for you, but in your life you wasn't ready to settle down because you were enjoying yourself having multiple partners. So promiscuity is something that is shunned in society, but in America, we do this all the time. In Islam, it talks about promiscuity and how Allah hates promiscuity, fornication, and adultery. And in the holy societies, you get killed. Why is the penalty of death for adultery, fornication in holy societies? Because it corrupts the society once people engage in adultery and promiscuity. With promiscuity and adultery, or just in promiscuity, there's no real practice of marriage. Me and Black had this conversation about arranged marriages and marriages in America. Did you know that in arranged marriages, the divorce rate in arranged marriages is 4%. That means that in certain societies, you have people that have children. I got a son. My neighbor, he's my friend. We like brothers. He got a daughter. And we make a pact or an agreement that these two people are going to marry each other when they grow up. So we may put them around each other, grow them up. And in the study, it talks about the reason why arranged marriages work better than marriages that we find partners on our own and we just freely find partners is because when you marry somebody in an agreement, you forced to know that person. So once you agree to that, you have a more of a will to go through the ups and downs with that person than you would if you just were dating a person and you decide to marry. There's a commitment there in an arranged marriage. When you're dealing with individuals that you're dating, you can date a person for 2 or 3 years. And then at the end of the time, after you had all this sex with this person and this, that, and the third, you find out this is not the person for you. But yet, that type of process in this society, you have a 50% divorce rate in America. Because you're practicing dating, you're having sex with this individual, according to the study, but yet there's a 50% divorce rate because there's no commitment there. So in society, in religious societies, marriage is encouraged to build strong families and to move with society forward. So without that particular institution in place, the society runs free. Now, individuals in that society may don't want to engage in promiscuity. They may be born in the world and they want a relationship and they may meet somebody that's into that lifestyle. So what happens? You got people with broken hearts. You got people that's been damaged by individuals that want to engage in a lifestyle of promiscuity. Some people, they don't want to be honest about their relationships with people. They would rather lie to that person to get close to that person, to have sex with that person, to engage with that person. And then when they feel that the sex is not good enough, they leaving that person. And that's not necessarily all the way the case. And that person is hurt because this person thought that I had somebody in my life and I gave myself to this person because I love this person. But without a commitment, without being married, without a commitment, then you had a freedom to leave without any responsibility. But the consequence happens is that you broke somebody's heart. So now, depending on the individual, that can ruin that person for life. Some people, they get up, they pick up and go, but they got some damage with them and they carry that damage. Some people carry that baggage to the next relationship, the hurt they had to the next relationship. They don't know how to start over. So they meet a good person, but they've been damaged by the past person that want to engage in that lifestyle. So now you got a cycle of unhealthy relationships with people because the society has free love. Also, you got all types of diseases with free love. You got chlamydia, you got AIDS, you got syphilis, you got different types of diseases that's going on in society that's happening that individuals are contracting based on that history that they have with that person. Now you got individuals that's dealing in the sexual relationships, homosexual relationships with individuals, and they having a life of bisexuality because in the society it's free love. So you got a husband, he's laying up with a man and his wife, and he may contract that disease of HIV or AIDS and contract the disease and bring it home to his wife. unbeknownst to her, and it can pass on to the child. And that's a result of free love. So we want to talk about why is it that it's frowned upon when women are engaged in promiscuity. Black, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's that? And which
Man, I'm chilling.
what it is?
I'm good. I'm good. What's up with him?
You got it. You got it.
Yeah. So we dealt with we dealing with the promiscuity and the subject. So what's your take on it, my man?
What about women just the new breed woman is just laying down and just having random sex at any given time? Why is it
Yeah.
frowned upon?
Yeah. But
I
I
guess
think I think that's been happening not just now. I think it's always been happening in history. It has happened. It when we were coming up, it's a little bit more hidden, a little bit more discreet. But I think through history, period, that's been going on for a long time. But from what's happening now, it's wide open now. It ain't all the doors is open. You can see inside of people's house.
I don't think it was going on uh, in the 90s, uh, late 80s like it is now, because women weren't trying to be men. It wasn't a you had less women trying to be men. It was less women um, saying, if you can do it, I can do it. They kind of respected their bodies more back in the day. Now that social media is out there and you got all these reality shows, um, it's making women feel more, I guess, free to just do what they want, and morals seem to be like out of the window. It's like, I'm just gonna do me. Damn what anybody think about me. Damn how I look to society. Damn how someone may judge me. I'm just gonna do me. It seems like that's where it's at now.
Right. So
So they were doing somewhat were doing their thing back in the day, but you can kind of count them. And they were preaching to their daughters not to go out there and sleep around back then. Now it's more of, if that's what she wants to do, let her do what she want to do. That's her free will. If she wants to date a woman, let her date a woman. If she want to pose nude on Instagram, let her do it. If my daughter wants an OnlyFans page, let her do that. It's more of a let them do what they want to do, instead of instilling standards and morals into them.
So back in the 90s, you knew that running trains on women were a popular thing. So do you think running the train on women, or girls, or teenage girls, uh, do you think that was few far in between, or do you think it was more of a thing back in the 90s as it is today? Was it?
I mean, I mean,
Is it common to run a train on a girl nowadays than it was you?
I mean, I'm sure it still goes on, especially now, but you don't really count your teenage, uh, your teenage years. You don't really start being, to me,
Account.
accounted for your actions till you 25 plus.
Okay.
So if we were running trains, girls were screwing the whole football team, basketball team. If you were doing that and you're in high school, let me see, I'm gonna say freshman to maybe junior year in college, you're allowed to make that mistake, because those actions are pretty much excusable, because you're out there trying to learn, trying to find yourself, trying to see who you are, who you want to be. And a lot of them were caged in at home, couldn't go places, was monitored. And so when they got alone and was able to be free on a college campus, a lot of them got turned out. Some girls turned dyke. Some guys turned gay once they went to college. They kind of just got loose, a lot of them. So
Right.
I say from the time you start having sex in your teens to about that can be excused. But once you're 25 and you know better and you still out there hoeing, that's just what you want to be. That's just who you are and what you want to be. And
But yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No,
Go ahead.
no. I just thought on the idea that you just said. When you were in your teenage years and you got up to 25, you're more accountable. But the generation now is from our generation. So if the generation now is from our generation, what's up, Jay? So the generation now is from our generation. Were those children made, this generation made that way by our generation on why they the way they are?
Our generation is not
We got an
preaching to
echo in
those
our
girls.
delay somewhere.
I'm sorry.
What you say?
Hold up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Our generation, the women of our generation, I don't feel they're preaching. A lot of them not preaching to their daughters enough to respect themselves and their bodies. I feel like they're being raised by social media.
Okay.
And it's what they see on Instagram, what they see on Snapchat. So I'm thinking a lot of the kids of today are being raised by social media and what they see.
Right.
And so with the parents having to work, are the parents doing them? Are the parents that's trying to keep up with the generation before them? They're not instilling morals, principles, self-respect in these kids.
Right. So, what do you think the disturbance or the breakdown happened that they did not teach?
James, I guess
Yeah,
our generation, we would say the 35 plus, the 40 plus, 35 plus, they're not instilling into the generation, the
the current
upcoming, their
generation,
children.
current, yeah,
They're not instilling them. So I'm gonna say the 35 plus not preaching to their daughters, their 10, 12, 13-year olds. They're not preaching to them self-respect.
right,
Because even my brother was trying to raise his kids. He has some kids that's around my age, and he was trying to raise them. And he told me that raising kids the way he was raised, and he's like 15 years maybe older than I am, and he was like, you can't raise the kids the same. And I didn't understand it because shit, a ass whooping did us good. I mean, but he said you can't do that, and his kids really don't really care for him now. Shit, my brother about 20 years older, but anyway, the kids don't care for him now. And he was telling me that, hey, you can't raise them the way we were raised. But hell, y'all know that belt and the switch got us straight.
mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That's right. He said, I'm sorry. He said it's because you have children raising children, 16 years having kids. Even when we were coming up in junior high school,
Mm-hmm.
even when we were coming up in junior high school, you remember that campaign that they had with Janet Jackson. Well, I know in Monroe, in junior high school, these girls was getting pregnant left and right. My classmates were getting pregnant left and right. And they used to have European design. They look like hammer pants. And it seemed like every female that was wearing this was pregnant. And they was speaking on the campaign was Let's Wait a While. And the pregnancy rate was real high among us during that time in the 80s.
But that you was about what? It was the 16-year-olds, right?
16, yeah. So that
But
was coming up. That was coming up in our time.
Like James Johnson just said, I mean, he kind of what I said it was a factor. It's a factor. But what he just said is the kids raising kids because they're having kids younger at 10 now, 11 and 12. and that mom that's working is not there to, that the mom, which is the grandma, a lot of those are busy working, trying to make sure the family is straight. Then you got this little 13-year-old with a newborn baby. So it's babies trying to raise babies. And that may contribute to why the social media is also raising them, because you got a kid trying to raise a kid and they don't have a father in the home. And like
Right.
James Johnson said, having a father in the home does help, whether he's biological or a good stepfather, good parent.
Right.
You need
Right.
help.
Right.
Back in the day, we had a village. And
Right.
Austin said on previous podcasts, that village got destroyed. That village started rubbing on little boys. That village started raping little girls. So the village is no more. And so now that the village is gone, the parents are left to try to raise these kids by themselves in a society where you got inflation, where in a society where it takes two incomes to run a family. So if it's just a single mother household, she don't have the time, nor can she put in the attention to that child that our parents did. Because a lot of our parents, if they did work, they worked, but they were still able to monitor us. You know, we had the village. If
Right.
Sister Clarice across the street seeing you doing something wrong, she called your attention, she grabbed your hand, she possibly will whoop your ass. But now these days you can't touch the children. It's just a totally different time coming up now. So that's probably why the women don't respect their bodies the way they did in the 80s and in the 90s. And when our parents came up, you can count the loose women. You can count who they considered hoes. When we was in school, we can sit there and pick who would give it up quick. And we knew which ones wasn't going to give it up quick at all. We was like, she a nun, you know. She ain't going to give up none. She ain't going to, she ain't going to give us none. She ain't going to give up none, you know. So we knew she was a nun. We called her a nun because she wasn't giving it up. But we also had that group that we knew if we wanted to get loose or get with sexually, we knew which group to hang with to get the sex.
Well, there are some other factors that come along also. You don't know the number of people, and since we're talking about women, I'm just going to say women that have some emotional trauma from not having that person, that man in the home, that causes them to seek that attention from anyone, from any man that comes along. So we have to also factor that in, because that is a big issue too. We also have to factor in the drugs and how many people are addicted to drugs and those type of things. So there are a number of factors out there that could cause some type of promiscuity or what we're claiming them as hoes or loose women or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a lot of psychological reasons also, but there's still a lot of them that just love to have sex, for whatever reason. And so when asked, and I used to talk to them, I want to know. I'm one of those, Shell, I want to know why you're doing what you're doing. And the majority of what I get, and it may be because they don't want me to know what's going on in their personal lives behind their doors. Y'all do it, why can't we?
Well,
so that's what majority would tell me when I say, so why you do this? If y'all can do it, why we can't?
And a lot of them use that as a defense mechanism to mask why they're really doing it, because sometimes they don't even know why they're doing it. And they use that as an excuse because that has been something that has rung out a lot amongst a lot of women. But then when you get deep into it or deep into their background, then you find out that's not their true mentality. They're feeling that way because of, again, some emotional trauma or hurt, or the male parent wasn't there in the home, or however that goes.
Depression. You got depression. Then you have esteem issues. Some don't feel like a man love them unless he's sleeping with them.
Right.
So it's a lot of reasons why, but society always praised the woman because she produced the baby. She's the one that delivers. The baby come out of her. So they always put the woman on that pedestal. And when you see that woman and she's acting like a man, or out there, majority of them just having sex at random. If you grew up with standards and watching, listening to Big Mama and them and all that, that's not something that a quality man is seeking, a woman who done slept with a bunch of guys. That's just how.
We have to also look at the male as a contributor to that also.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody said it.
Yeah, because they are a contributing factor to that. But
at the end of the day, the woman gives the consent. If he's not raping her, she gives permission. Her
when so much of this stuff is psychological.
Mm-hmm.
See, because you're looking at rape as a physical thing, but men and women are manipulated into sex.
Yeah,
highly. Yeah, most of us have been manipulated into sex, right? Oh, you like me? Oh, come here, girl, right? And stuff like, because he wants to have sex. Period. Right. And so we're not going to pretend like that men don't have any contributing factor. We do things that we do, especially as young women and young teenagers, to please men because we've been trained to do so. Right. Even the adage of, oh, keep yourself pure. You keeping yourself pure for what? So a man will want you. So all this still trickles down from the head. It all still trickles down from the head. We behave the way we behave because, like Mr. James said, that the praise that men give to women. We get dressed the way we do because men look at it. Women on Instagram doing what they doing and how they doing it because men look at it. Because men will pay for, porn. And who's screwing the women that's being ran a train on? Men. If men wouldn't be out there doing the thing, I don't want no pure woman. What?
Right.
In one case, we're like, I don't want, and we talked about that last week. The idea that I don't want everybody to ran a train on. However, I want somebody in the bedroom who could be a freak in the bedroom, but she ain't got no experience. So where's she gonna get the experience from?
Right.
Which one do you want?
Yeah, but I mean, I understand the experience.
We don't have strong mind as women growing up in the hood with no daddy and a mama that's working all the time. What do you mean strong mind? We don't have a strong mind. Yeah, and the system is set up for us to fail. None of us have a strong mind. Men don't have strong minds. They set us up not to.
I can agree with that. And
if a mother is hurting, how she gonna teach her baby? How she gonna teach her child how to be strong and how her daughter how to be strong if she was manipulated into sex, if she was manipulated by Uncle Jester or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, it's true.
This is a systemic problem. It's a generational problem. This is more than just women having sex willy-nilly. And yes, we like sex. What's wrong with that part?
And how many women, we talk about the women out there with multiple children by multiple different dads, then again, that goes back to manipulation. What were they promised? They were promised that, hey, I'm going to be here with you, for you, I love you. And then
and we believe the lies.
When it comes down to it, they told a good lie to get what they want, and then they moved on to the next one.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say,
we always talk about and rescue me from the tower and get me out of this situation. Somebody's gonna come and rescue me. So you are always waiting for some man to come and rescue you from something.
But let me ask you this: with all that being said, all that being done, at what point do that woman do a light bulb ever comes on to say, hey, these niggas full of
Maybe
shit?
that's why I do the work that I do to help people have their light bulbs come on.
Yeah.
But if nobody
Yeah.
talks about it, if
That's right.
somebody is constantly being shamed for something, they're not gonna talk about it. If
Right.
a woman can't sit down with her man, her friends, or whomever and say, "Oh, I've been with 30 niggas, 5 of them was at one time because I was going through a thing," without being shamed and ridiculed, she's not going to talk about it.
Right.
She
You
needs
know,
safe spaces to do that.
Yeah, it's and just to add to what you're saying, to opinion of what you're saying, they because Erica Badu is known for having 3 baby daddies, and they asked the question. They asked her how did she feel about having 3 baby dads. She said that you really don't plan for that.
No,
No
nobody goes out and be like, I'm gonna be a baby mama. I'm
plans
gonna have 5 baby
to
daddies.
have 3 or 4 children. I mean, 3 and 4 baby daddies. It happens because she said that a man will tell you and sell you a dream. You
All the
fall
time.
in love with that man, you get pregnant, you break up, then you on to the next man. Not that you're looking for it, but it happens.
Right.
So
She said,
and maybe you
it
are,
happens.
you might be looking for the next person in your life. You're
Yeah,
trying to figure out what happened with this one, but I still want to have a person in my life. Everybody does. Everybody wants to have a person in their life. You don't know what signs to look for. You don't know what
But
your
what
red
happened?
flags are. You
so
don't
men,
know.
What happened?
so really men are like used car salesmen. And they selling you this car, and they're saying it runs great, has low miles, and then you
Look at the paint
start
job.
driving it, and the wheels fall off.
Yep.
And like I was telling this story with me growing up, because of listening to what mom, my aunts, and grandma was preaching, I didn't want a woman that had children, period. I mean, when you say scum of the earth, the way they talked about it, that was the lowest. And so one day I was on the phone and I was talking to a partner of mine, and I was like down in this female that wanted to talk to me. I was like, man, she got kids, she got this, and I don't want this, I don't want that. And my mom overheard me saying that. And she opened the door and she says, what makes her a slut? What makes her a whore? Is it because a guy before you came in there and told her he was going to be this, he loved her and this and that, and she had sex with him and had a baby, and then another guy come along and tell her another lie just as sweet as that one, and lay down with him and have another one, and then another one comes. She was like, don't you never let me hear that come out your mouth again, because you don't know what that woman been through to have those kids.
But
and and everything then, and like I said, I might have been 19, maybe 18. I was like 18 then. And from that point on, I started seeing it different. But just imagine being 13, listening to everybody in the house, Big Mama and them, preaching women shouldn't have children and you shouldn't get in a ready-made family. And so all this was instilled in my head. So when I was on the phone just shooting the shit with my partner, and then she overheard me and came in there and got on my ass in front of my partner while he was on the phone, I ain't have time to hang it up. That stuck in my head. So that changed my train of thought. So what you guys saying about the use salesman selling a lie, that's what I was taught. But I just feel like once she made those mistakes or did what she did, listen to that, at what point does it come conservative where I done been used, I have children now, let me get on my shit? When does that kick in?
It does kick in after that, but just like James just said, then you start being so overly cautious that you pass up good people, right? Because you don't know what the middle ground is, that's why I do therapy. That's why you create spaces where people can talk about those things freely and figure out what's the right and what's the wrong. And why am I attracting this kind of dude to me all the time? And what are my issues that I keep choosing the wrong person? Because I might not know what's good for me because I didn't have all of that growing up. You know what I'm saying?
I know I came in late. I'm trying to catch up to speed to what's going on. Nice to see everybody again.
Hey there, Mr. Melvin.
Hey,
how you doing? DJ Black got a question for you. Why would you be allowed to change your preferences up just because your mom felt a certain type of way that you shouldn't so-called prejudge what your preference is? That's at the end of the day, that's your preference.
Is it a preference
how can
or is it
somebody
something
change
that's
your mind
instilling you
up?
from societal
Is
standards and norms?
Let me go ahead. I want to finish my quote first. I don't want to talk all over everybody. Why be allowed to change up your personal choice? Because at the end of the day, it's your personal choice. If you choose not to date a woman with children, that's totally your choice. And no one should be able to sway the narrative on that to make you feel any other type of way. That's my
but
question.
she made me see it different because when I see something, I'm prejudiced with it.
See,
and
that's
I
what I
was
was
like,
about to ask. There's a
scum
difference
of the
between a
earth.
personal choice and a prejudice.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was prejudiced. So when I heard women, you shouldn't have a woman with a child, and they not this, they that, I was listening to the uncles and everybody saying that, and so I was like, scum of the earth. So she overheard that, and then she broke that down on how that woman got those children. She didn't. When my uncles and everybody was talking about it, they didn't say, I didn't know none of that. All I know is I'm riding with them in the back seat, 13 years old. And they said, man, look at that slut right there. Look at that scalawag. They just talking about it. I'm just right there looking at, I'm learning what a damn scalawag is. I'm learning what a slut is. I'm like, okay, that ain't what you want.
And
But
you
then when I'm trying to pass my knowledge on to my friend, and she overheard me, and she just kind of put me down. Now, yeah, I'm gonna make my own decision on what I choose, but she made me understand, like they're saying that we contributed in that as well. A man contributed in that by selling dreams and lying to them, and I didn't get that in the equation from 12 to 18. All I knew is they were bad, and you don't want that. They sluts, they hoes, they gonna mess over you. You don't want them. You don't want no ready-made family. That's all that I kept hearing. And then when she explained to me, it took mom to break that down, explain to me how it became a single ready-made family because of us coming in there lying to them, painting a untrue picture, selling them a dream, and then we opt out of it.
But here's the caveat to that. Wayne Black and I are from the same family. We're cousins. So a number of our family members had stepchildren.
Right.
So how did that come about? Right? So for him to think that, then he's thinking that about his own family members.
No, these weren't my family members I was thinking about. I was talking about somebody I was dating.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying that we had family that was in those same situations that came into ready-made.
Yeah, family. But at 12, at 10, 12, 13, I wasn't thinking about that. All I was thinking about is what I'm doing. Now, when you turn 17, 18, 19, then you start looking into, okay, so Sharon is really my cousin, but that, and all that. But when you growing up and you just living you, doing you, and sexing and free willing it at a teenager, you're not thinking about, okay, that wasn't on my mind. So all I know, no matter what they went through, I knew I didn't want that. So if my folks smoke crack, I know I'm not going to be on crack. If my folks lived in a raggedy ass trailer, I know I didn't want no raggedy ass trailer. And so I just knew what I wanted. And I just looked down on that because that's not what I wanted. But as you get older and you get that knowledge, you change. But that's how I was. I didn't want nobody who had a child. And I preached that until I was about 17, 18 years old.
And I can definitely understand it as a preference as well, because even as a female, I was 25 and didn't have any kids. So I looked for men who didn't have any kids, right? And that was a preference of mine, right? And I wanted my first baby to be their first baby, you know, and stuff like that. And so it's okay to have that as a preference, but like you know, somebody said earlier, it doesn't matter what's the reasoning behind it. Is it a prejudice? Like, you know, that's like with people who like to date, who's okay with dating outside of their race or whatever, you know. Is it a preference because I like this type of person or whatever, you know? I have a preference for chocolate mint, you know, but like that don't mean I'm not gonna date a light skin at all, right? If they come correct and have the things I need, I'm not gonna throw that out the window, right? And so, but if you have somebody that primarily, I don't date black women because blah 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 blah, then that's a prejudice. That's different than a preference.
Right. And I had a prejudice with it because of what everybody was putting in my head from that age. You know, I'm like,
it's Jay Grubb. Go, Rich, go ahead. What's up, Mr. Melvin? What's up, man?
What's up, brother? Hey, to Chanel, did I say your name right?
Yeah, Chanel, yeah.
Okay, to answer your question, I heard you say what was making her attract the same type of men. Once upon a time when I was living in Seattle, a couple of my African buddies, they always used to tell me, they saw two women I was dealing with. And I'm single, I can move around. And they said, man, one thing I noticed about you, your women are the same. I was like, what do you mean? I didn't know what they meant when they said my women are the same. I had no idea. He said, man, they're very nice, they're polite, they're dainty, they're very feminine, you know, they're just very quiet and chill. Mm-hmm. I said, that lets me know that's the type of spirit I have. I attract these type of women.
You attract what you are.
Person.
Yes, exactly. So basically, like the older people say, people's spirits know each other's spirits. Right. So if she was accustomed to being abused, she's going to keep attracting abusers. If she was molested, she's going to keep attracting people that's going to violate her sexually, use her up and pump and dump her. She had to change her mindset. She had to change her frequency and vibrations. Until she changes that in her mindset, she's going to keep meeting the same dude. He's just in a different meat costume, but it's the same dude over and over and over again. Right. It's a continuous cycle. You can't break it until you change your mindset.
It's a mindset. It's a spirit. It's you know, it's what you're used to. You know, you always, you know, you're going to attract what you are. And you're gonna seek what you feel like you're missing, right? Right. And then often you're seeking that in the wrong places, or you're seeking it from the wrong people.
Yeah. Right. I've been called bougie. I've been called stuck up. I've been called I should only deal with white women. It's a bunch of nonsense because I demand that the women in my life be a certain way.
That's right.
Am I
and you have a right to do that?
Nowhere in it. But this is what I'm looking for. This is the caveat. I don't want some big loud mouth I can't take somewhere without her getting me into a fight. Right. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to be with someone we walk in, everybody know we there. I'm like, no. I like to come into the cut, lean back, and just watch everybody else. I don't like all that attention. Right. So somebody who's like that is going to be the exact opposite of what I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah, that's deep. That's deep because, and I'm just going to test to Rich because I've been knowing Rich for 30 years. We running buddies. Yes. He's been the same person for 30 years. He's been chill. We used to have house parties at his house. Yep. So we all everywhere. We drunk. We everywhere, all over the place. He chilling. He got his little sip. He probably got some Crown, some Coke. He chilling. He the quiet one out of the bunch. While all of us acting crazy, throwing, just going crazy. So the type of person he is what he attracts. So. I can kind of see that, in him.
Is it safe to say that women that's comfortable with multiple sex partners back to back weekly has some type of, if not psychological, esteem issues?
Maybe or maybe not.
I would go as far as
to say, choose to have multiple partners. I think we keep stigmatizing women as if we don't have the same sexual desires. Like if a man does a woman every damn day, one woman every day, y'all don't frown upon that at all.
Because
It's
that's
not
his
just,
nature.
Why
it's
is
not a
that
woman.
though?
That's
Like
his
she
nature.
might have
That's
a
how he was
sexual desire
designed.
and would like to sleep with more than one man, and that's a prerogative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
But
a
why
man's
don't
nature to want
men?
multiple women.
Why men
Now,
don't?
could it be a psychological disorder of some sort, or self-esteem, or what? It could be, but it could be the same thing for a man.
No, that's the thing.
Well,
We're not the same, guys.
we're not the same.
We're not the
We're
same. A
not
woman,
designed the
you
same.
And it's
can't
maybe
put us
we're the
in the
same.
same basket.
Yeah.
We all have
We-
sexual desires, though.
I get
we
that
have,
part, but society look at women differently than they look
That's
at
my
men.
point.
Men are supposed to
Society
go
looks
around and
at women
gigolo
differently.
around and have several women. But
Well,
women
society,
don't.
society
It's
looks
gonna be
at black
frowned
people
upon. She's
different
gonna
too.
be called a harlot or a Jezebel
So what
or
you're saying
whatever.
is, I should conform to societal's norm.
You can do what
because
you
I'm a
want to do.
woman.
At the end of the day, that's your choice. But I'm just
That's
letting you know what
my point,
society is
that
going
it
to say
is
when you
our
run around
choice.
with different men.
And you can if you choose to,
Yeah,
and how you, and whoever wants to look at me in that way, they can.
Yeah.
That's up to them. But I liken that as unto black people. Societal standards and norms at one time said that we wasn't shit and we didn't deserve anything and we was all a part of a human. Should we have continued with that societal standard or norm, or should we have made our come up like we have and showed them who we are?
That's
Right?
a whole different. That's a whole
No, it's
different
not a
realm,
different
though.
thing. It's
Chanel,
societal standards and norms.
let me ask this: at
Period.
a certain point in life, should we be 50 years old doing this? Should we be 50
We
years
50 years
old
old doing what? Having sex?
having multiple partners, having
What does
partners
age have to do with
in and
it?
out?
There's
No,
really
actually,
there's no
at
age
this-
limit
at
attached to
this
it.
point.
It comes down to personal choice.
Thank you.
Everyone
That's it.
has a choice to do whatever they want to
They
do.
choose to
You
do.
just deal with the consequences that come
That's
with
right.
it.
That's right.
Right.
Some people don't like that I enter a room and I take over the room. I got a big personality. I have to deal with the consequences of that. Do I dim my light? No, I come in and I'm gonna be me. I chose to do that because I dimmed my light for a long time. It didn't serve me, right? Because I was conforming to those around me so that they would be comfortable. But that's not my problem or not my issue. If I sleep with 2 men tonight and 2 men tomorrow and 3 women the next day, that is my prerogative. That's what I choose to do. When people think about it, it's their problem.
Right.
But to answer your question, Phantom, in my opinion, when women are promiscuous like that, and at the end of the day, we're in the 21st century, she has the right to do what she want to do. We're not arguing that. But I'm going to answer your question, just my based opinion. When they are promiscuous like that, number one, they have lost their ability to pair bond. So they can lay down with 100 men. There's not going to be nothing there. There's no emotion. She just want to get a nut off, and that's it. Her ability to pair bond is gone. So her trying to be with one dude, it's just never going to happen because there's never going to be any emotions.
A lot of them don't want one
She
dude.
never learned how to pair bond to begin with, so she didn't get that from her parents.
And most women who are like that went through some in their childhood to where they were touched and they never told anybody and they were violated. So this is their way. This is like a borderline personality disorder type thing. This is how they deal with it. This what's the one? Marilyn Monroe had borderline personality disorder. That's why she went through so many men because she was never happy. No matter she had the president, she still wasn't happy.
Right, and her brother, and his
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's borderline personality disorder. This is the disorder that you get when you go through something traumatic in your childhood. So this is what most of these women go through, and they're not going to tell anyone because it's going to be frowned upon.
Right.
I don't want you to do an overreaching, this is what you get when you have, because personality disorders and any disorders are specific.
Yeah, that's why I said, my major is therapeutic recreation. My profession is I talk to mental patients
I'm telling you,
all
I understand
day long.
what you're saying.
So
but as far as diagnosis is concerned, I don't want you to have an overarching. I don't want anybody to have an overarching view of, when they see this thing, they probably have borderline. That's not the case.
Well, let me say this is that most women that I've seen and I've talked to, and the most common thing, I can't say this for everyone, but the most common thread that I've seen in women that have multiple sex partners, they've been molested. Some sexually have happened to them in their life for them to be the way, like the story I told last week. This woman was bad, phenomenal, nice looking woman. She had AIDS, but the way she communicated with men in her life, and she knew how her looks took her, and she said she had sex with hundreds of men. But she said in her life, all she wanted was love. And she said,
isn't that what everybody wants?
Yeah. But the thing is, the point I'm making.
Some of them just want orgasm.
No, listen, baby. I'm just making a point that a lot of commonality from what I experienced. I can't say the overarching,
right?
But from what I've experienced dealing with women is that they've been sexually molested as little girls. And some of them just straight out freaks. Some of them come in the world with a disposition to want to be in bondage and leather and whips. Some of them had a disposition to want to do that. I respect that.
And it's
but from the common thing that I've seen is that women, they've been molested when the overall consensus of that, because we know that was happening in our community. We know Uncle John was touching on his niece. We knew that the cousins would go in the room when they come over. Their cousins spend the night. They touching each other. They touching their little girl cousin. They seeing her little vagina. They touching on
a lot,
and it's just exploration. But that's the thing that we have done in our community.
A lot of women. To add to that, a lot of women,
but it don't apply to everybody. Is what I'm saying, Chanel.
A lot of them not satisfied sexually. These men are jumping on them, getting them. Right. I've talked with a few women and they would say they barely get orgasms, and when they experience that first orgasm, it's kind of like taking, with the way people describe taking that first hit of crack. Mm-hmm. That first high, you go chasing that, and that's how they become crack addicts. Mm-hmm. So a lot of women get with different guys and they don't get that orgasm. And so a lot of them be like, he didn't get me out. I need somebody who can get me out, and I'll be like, so now you finna go to Jonathan, and she's hoping Jonathan can get her out. Well, did Jonathan get you out? No, he didn't do nothing. I'm finna go see what James working with. And so they, then they just kept going and going and going, chasing an orgasm. And she wasn't looking for love. She just wanted a damn orgasm. And I was like,
she's running.
That's why body. She got to learn how to take care of that herself. And she wanted to worry about that from nobody else. The key, though, I think, is people are not just chasing just sex. I think people are chasing connection. I think people are sometimes chasing love. Sometimes people do just want to have sex. It's just who can give me the thing that's missing that I need, right?
So that's an issue, Chanel. But isn't that an issue if you're looking for something and they can't give it? Isn't that an issue what's inside that individual? That's a problem. I'm having.
Nobody taught you how to get it.
Nobody taught you how to get it, do you think the result of having them many sexual partners is the result of not the inability to pair bond because you having those many sexual partners?
A lot of people don't want to pair bond. They're just out here to have sex. They making their own money. They living the way they want to live.
I'm speaking on to what she was saying as far as them looking for that bonding, the aspect of bonding, because when you dealing with somebody, especially when the sex good from this partner, I'm listening to conversations with women. We in the break room, and my coworkers talking, and they meet great men, good men, solid men they were married, but they said his sex not good,
right?
And they said it hurts them in the inside that they got a great man, but the sex not good.
That's why sex is very important in a relationship.
And she said that they eventually broke up because he was a good guy, but the sex just wasn't good.
Yeah, and that breaks my
Women, they're
heart
not gonna
because
get 100%.
active sex is a trainable thing. It's something you can learn.
Yeah.
So that hurt. That
Why'd
breaks
you
my
throw away
heart.
a whole good dude
Throw
just because his sex
throw the
was
baby
good?
out with
You
the
could have
bathwater.
taught him. You could just teach him what you
That's
like.
something that you can learn.
Easy.
She said it, man. She said it. She's rich. She said the dude did Chanel. He did everything she thought in her head. He would do stuff that she would think of, everything. But she said when it came to the sex, it went flat. And
So
she
Chanel,
said they ended up falling out. Yeah.
So Chanel, you say
with him about it either.
Yeah.
so Chanel, in your line of work, you're saying that if the sex is bad, so to speak, she's not getting orgasm, she don't like this, she's not feeling them sexually, period.
Mm-hmm.
You just said, if I heard correctly, that can be worked on.
Yes, absolutely. Sex is a skill.
Yeah, she have to teach him what she likes.
She has to learn her body.
How does he know?
Learn what
The communication is
talk
off.
to him about what she likes, and they need to practice that thing.
And so you're saying he can make her orgasm if he is trained, if he learned the skill?
She needs to learn herself. She needs to know what she likes. All women are not the same. We like different stuff. Anytime you transition from one woman to the next woman, the first session that you're having, usually you're having sex with the last woman in your head because you knew the stuff that she liked, right? So then you get with this woman, right? And you going at it with like you used to, and she like, whoa, I don't like no, not to the left, to the right, no, but that's too much, like But you have to teach your partner, and your partner has to be willing to listen. Everybody not there just to get their rocks off. Right. We are here to please each other. I want to please my partner. And if my partner wants to please me, then that's a beautiful experience, right? But if I'm there just to get mine, then everybody's not gonna be happy. Right.
And the thing about it is that we don't want to go to books. We don't want to go to different things to learn, to go to counseling. I know I'm letting our business in, but it's okay. In the Nation of Islam, as far as in family relationships, dealing with the brothers and one another, it's good to get a book on intimacy, to learn how to love one another and learn different things about each other, so you will know how to keep the relationship going. Because in that instance that I said earlier, she said that man did everything for her. He just didn't know how to please her. So, as you said, every woman is different. Every woman is not the same. So,
and like Glass said, sex is a deal breaker. And I preach that all the time. True. Sex is a very, very high important part of a relationship.
Yes.
But you got she said you gotta teach that. If you love that person enough, you want, hey baby, we finna have a real conversation.
A lot of times it don't get to love. It don't make it to love.
Huh?
What you mean?
A lot of times when they have sex, they haven't made it to love.
We talking about, but the thing is,
but it is a connection point.
But if you teaching somebody, it's a connection there. If you're teaching somebody evidently you care about that person, if you want to show that person.
That's if it gets to that point. The way we move now is sex. You fine, you pretty, I'm attracted. So then we get along, we do the sex thing. If the sex is terrible, you're not going to get that text. No. I say the way a lot of them. Whenever I speak, let me clear the room. Whenever I speak, I'm not saying the world. I'm saying that's the way some people think. I don't know what my neighbors think. I'm saying from the people I've been around, from the way I've moved, the way that I'm speaking from personal experience and the people in my cipher. So I'm not saying the whole world drinks Coke. I'm saying I drink a Coke every now and then.
Okay.
You don't have to be sarcastic. We just
I drink every now and then.
If you love somebody, she's speaking on if you love or care about somebody, is to teach them and show them how to please that individual. That's what Rich was saying, is how to please that individual if you ain't going to no one night stand, this ain't two dogs hooking up, getting together, hunching on each other. Now, if you're doing that, it's a deal breaker, fine. But if you care about this person, you want to know how to please that person.
And so that's why you spoke on that aspect. And then I say a lot of us not even into that. Like Castasia just said. She said, but what about the men that have sex with women they're not attracted to?
That's a good
question. And those are your one night stands.
To sleep with
I'm a
women.
DJ.
They're going to. There's no other way around it. He don't have to be attracted to it. He want to just bust his nut and leave.
Men are wide.
He want to come over, do his business, wash up in her sink and go. That's what he want to do.
Men are wide.
And trust me, some women want that too. Hey, come get it, wash up and go somewhere. Just go.
So why is that not considered a mental health issue? If any man wants to sleep with somebody that they're not attracted to,
we can consort the DSM-5 book and see if it's in there.
Like I say, when you're in your teens, I'm gonna say high school, maybe college, beginning, I guess freshman, maybe in college, and you would take one for the team. You know what I'm saying? My partner said, hey man, she got a girl over here. I need you to, I'm gonna try to get her in the back. I need you to hang out with a friend. So you get drunk, y'all go over there and hang out, and then bang, he doing his thing. You don't want to be the sixth toe. So then you get over there and the girl feeling you, and then you end up messing with her, and then the next day you looking like, damn, I can't believe I slept with her. So when you're coming up, you can fall into a one night stander where you're not attracted or don't want to be a life partner with this girl. But I just feel like once you know better, you do better. So once you get past that 25, you bench pressing 30, that shit should be over with. But like she was saying, when you're with somebody you're not attracted to, both of you should know what's up. Both of you should know.
You know what it is. What it is. You know what it is. You come do your business. I get off. You get off. All right. See you next time.
But how does that person know that you're really not attracted to him? It could be part of those lies again.
Because if it's a man, if he don't ever take that woman nowhere, he don't spend no time with her. She should already know what.
But Jay, she know though.
Yeah, she know what it is.
They don't always know.
But Jay,
you know what it is.
Dude, okay, so a woman you're not attracted to. Okay, a woman you're not attracted to, are you gonna take her anywhere? Are you gonna spend anything on her? Are you gonna spend time with her? Have you did that?
Some people don't even do that for their in a relationship.
But what I'm saying, wouldn't she have some idea or know? Hey, she's not questioning you.
No, she doesn't. Well, here it is.
All right.
She may not know because she may think that this is just what they do.
Okay, if that's what they do, and they understand that he's not attracted to her. So if you know this is like a transactional type thing, it ain't no emotions into it.
If he hadn't said it, if he hadn't come out and told her, or she hasn't come out and told him, how would they know?
Right.
And see, back in the day, we used to go to house parties. And at those house parties, we drinking. We got that trash can punch. Somebody, we smoking J. We doing our thing. So, and when they throw that Jodeci on, come and talk to me. Or they throw that goddamn Key Sweat, how deep is your love? And we get that girl in that corner and we holding them shoulders and we breathing on that neck. Anything can happen after that. And it's in the dark. We in that living room in the dark. So she's the most beautiful thing right then because my partner with his girl, and I'm just trying, I can't be a lame riding back with him. I ain't getting nothing. And he like, man, she was off the chain. And so you got to get, so, hey, boom. Man, you mess with her? Yeah, man, I sure hate I done that. It's the day after. Yeah. So it's a lot of sex that take place with people you're not attracted to when you're, like y'all said on the previous one, when you're living reckless, when you're just doing you.
Right.
So when you get older, though, we fall into what you're saying, the teaching them how to love, hit me to the left, flip me to the back. do it anal. And when and then the first time, that's that was crazy. There's a lot of stuff, like they say, you be introduced to. Like you were saying, when the girl wanted you to do it anal, that was like crazy. So it's like everybody, like Chanel said, everybody gets off. Everybody likes sex differently. It's no two people alike. They may have similar ways, and certain things you do with this one may turn her on also. But you got to come with your A game. Some like oral, some like anal. So if you're gonna be that person that gets her off, that pleases her, you have to adjust to the person you're with.
But
here's the thing: we have to stop trying to put women and people in a box. Period.
Thank you, sir.
So we have to, stop that break glass in case of sex, because here's a virgin behind this glass. That no longer exists.
Right.
So we can no longer put a woman in a box, because they have the freedom to express their sexuality the same way that men do.
Exactly.
Right. And that's why, and if that's not what a man prefer, then that's just not his preference. But don't knock that woman.
You're gonna miss out on some good sex.
Don't knock that woman for expressing who she is. And like they say, we don't want no virgin, but we don't want no hoe either. But then again, she still has to get some bodies up there to know how to please whichever man she gets with. So it's a kind of catch-22. And like he say, you can't look at it as a box deal. Every individual is going to be every individual. You just have to choose if that's the individual for you at the end of the day. If I don't want a woman with a 30 or 40 body count, that's my preference. If I, don't want a woman that go to the clubs, that's just my preference. And, and being that I DJ in the club, I don't care for women that go to the club. I mean, because I see what goes on. And then I've dealt with, I've DJed in strip clubs. And then you look at these strippers like, why are you doing this? But if that's all they know, they're making money, they don't see nothing wrong with it. So either you're going to respect it.
Another thing, Black, is that, it's the stigma that's attached to these things. Sex work is real, right? And it pays, and people pay for it, right? And stuff. But then we down the women who do it as if, but if it was a bad thing to that extent, then y'all wouldn't go pay for it, right? It wouldn't be a thriving business. And so why are we attaching a stigma to the woman that strips? Because that's going to make her quick money, and she needs this money to go to college or take care of her kids or whatever the case may be, right? And then we got to attach some negativity to it just because it's a sexual or sensual thing, because we've attached penises and vaginas to it rather than, okay, yes, it's entertaining, and I like watching naked women, and here goes some money, right?
So men go out there and they get this visual of what they really want and desire, but then they go back home to boring Betty.
Yeah, I never understood that. That's why I don't do the strip clubs. I never personally went to the damn strip club, because I've always been able to get whomever I want. And if I want to get a pole put in that room, I'm going to get a pole. She get in that room. Why get teased? Why pay for a tease? But every man can't say that, but that's just me. If I like a girl that look like Lisa Ray, I'm going to go get me a Lisa Ray. And that's what I did. I like Lisa Ray, my favorite Lisa Ray. So that's just, but every man can't do that. But paying for a woman to just put her ass on you and roll and do all that bullshit, and you touching on her ass, and you got to go, they going home to some big, some blacker than the road out there, but yet they want this half white one rubbing on them. That's just too much. That's too much for me. So I never done that.
So again, who has the illusion or the disillusion in their mind? Who has the real disconnect? Is it the man or the woman?
The man or the women?
It's the man.
It's the guy.
I feel like it's the guy, because and that's what pisses me off with us as men. We'll go and get a woman that we're not attracted to, and that's where the cheating, the deceiving, and all that shit come in. Man, just pick something that really turns you on. It's not that hard not to cheat. It's not that hard to be faithful. It's not that hard It's really not that hard. You just got to find something you like. And like I preach, and this off the grid, but I preach to people that's trying to be in relationships, that's searching for love. That person has to be your friend. But first, it has to be something you're attracted to that you like. And then they have to become your friend before dating. Y'all have to be friends. Where she need a meal, you need $80 for a bill, and she say, hey, I tell you what, here go $80, pay me back when you get paid. That's a friend. She need $50 for her electric, and you hear her on the phone saying, man, I need to come up with $50 more. Then he say, hey, here's that $50. That's your friend. Those are the people that you make the bond with, the closer relationships with, besides going after a physical attraction. That physical attraction shit is not gonna make it, because your looks gonna fade, your dimensions, your body gonna change. You have to like that person for who they are, a mental connection. That physical is not gonna get it.
So that's the thing. A lot of people get caught up in the physical or the sex aspect of a relationship and not realize that you have to like that person outside of the bedroom.
That's
so
right.
When you finish your 30 minutes, hour, 5 minutes, whatever it is, then you have to get along with that person. You have to be able to sit in a room with them. You have to be able to take a ride with them. You have to be able to sit there through a dinner with them. You have to be able to look at them in their face and without the light, with the lights on and your eyes open, and not saying, ugh. So
and growing up, that was my problem. Because once it's done, I'm getting dread. I'm out. I got shit to do. I got shit to do. So I had to learn. That's when I learned all this friendship shit, because I hauled ass. I mean, I want the lights out when I'm there, and I want to leave with them jokers out. I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
You don't like the lights on, player?
Man, no. Because being that I'm blessed, a lot of them wouldn't do it. You ain't gonna put that in me, so. And I couldn't let him see without,
Black didn't even take off his shoes. He said he didn't even take off his shoes to jump in.
I actually, if they fell off, but I don't take my socks off. No.
Yeah. I used to work security at a strip club. I don't see how them guys used to come in there and spend thousands of dollars. I just be there laughing at them like, how you come in here every weekend and spend all your cheese?
Man.
I'm just sitting there watching them, doing my security thing. And one thing about me, I never mess with none of the girls. I might walk them to their car or whatever. That was about it.
Let me ask this: what makes a man deal with a woman? Is it just the sexual aspect of dealing with that woman, and because I can't wrap my mind around having sex with a woman that I don't have no feelings for?
Well, these guys, man, they got money. They got money, so they want to trick off with women. They want to get a girl. I tell guys this all the time, and I say this on my channel. Some guys can't get certain women. Those women are out of their league. Right. So the only way they can get those women is they have to pay. The average dude, some guys who got themselves together, they don't have to pay, because that woman can see, okay, he got it going on. I'm about to give him some. But the average dude walk up to her, she be like, man, go on somewhere. So therefore, he got to trick off. So some guys aren't 6 feet tall. Some guys aren't blessed down below. Some guys are socially awkward. Some guys are just weird. So they have to trick off. They have no choice. They have no game, no swag. They don't know how to talk to women without making her feel weird about it. So that's just the way it is. That's the way it's set up. Especially here in the States or any other westernized society, even in Europe. If you don't have that swag or something that woman is attracted to you about, you don't have to pay.
And I was explaining that to him. One day he and I was talking. When me and my clique would walk in the room, the way we carried ourselves, all eyes on us. And then we knew how to disperse. We knew where to go. And then it's like we can really have the pick of the litter. The one that's not showing his face, we would actually be at parties, see some guy trying to throw his best mat, and we do this. And she leave that joke, I'll be right back. And she come over to us. And then we used to be debating while she walking up there, which one of us go talk to her. That's how we move. And so, but it's that, like you say, it's that swagger. It's when you walk in that room, like a lady told me one time. She seen me. She say, "You may not have a dime in your pockets. I don't know what's in your pockets, but every time I see you, you look like $1 million. You look like you have $1 million. But it's just how I move. Why would I walk around with my head down and looking all insecure? No, once you're comfortable with who you are, when you step in that room, like Chanel said, you attract who you are. So if I walk in there insecure little bastard, I'm gonna attract an insecure woman. You know what I'm saying? But if I walk in there with my swagger, my A game, I'm gonna attract that positive woman who's on that mission for greatness, like me. You know, and that's what you attract. So you have to step your game up.
That's it.
Like Richard said, you have to step your game up and just walk in there knowing who you are and what you want. And that's how you get them.
Yeah, don't approach a woman hesitating. Can I buy you a drink?
Yeah.
Boy, get out of here. She gonna like get out of my face. You wasting too much of my time.
Right.
You gotta be
but I think that's
man.
an area where I think you guys as men should kind of, be able to mentor, if you will, and be able to help, because some guys don't grow up with that confidence, right? And stuff. Just as women have been molested and have had issues from their past, men do too, and that affects their well-being and beingness, right? And so some men might not feel that confident to be able to walk up to a woman, or and so I think, and it's nothing that I can teach him as a female, right? I think men should be able to get together and be like, dude, this is how you do, like, and kind of.
But I'm gonna tell you what they say.
But that's kind of difficult at times too.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have some type of someone that has to be innate, someone that has to be innate, and if you are just that person that does not have that ability to project that type of personality, then you don't have it, and sometimes it never comes.
Right.
So whatever opinion you formed of yourself, sometimes it's hard to break that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've gone through repeated letdowns, no's, then that's what you come to expect. But there's someone for everyone.
Right.
You just have to find your one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I used to try to tell them, man, switch your clothes up. Wear this, wear that. Let's do this, let's do that. And I used to even go as far as to say, hey, he's my cousin, blah, blah, blah. That'll give him a little swagger. But they'll say, man, it worked for you. I didn't try it, it don't work for me. So like James said, he said that a lot of times that they didn't beat themselves down and then put that in their head that I can't do it. And they give up. Same way with sports and different. If you feel like you can't throw that ball 40 feet, I can't do it. That I can't. And it goes back to what we was taught with the train, that I think I can train thing. That's all that was teaching, self-confidence. Right. I think I can. So when you step out there, if you think you're gonna get shot down, chances are you're gonna get shot down.
Yep,
if you step up in there and say, hey, I'm gonna pull the baddest thing up in here tonight, chances are you gonna pull, if she's not the baddest, she's gonna be competing with them. So that and like they say, yeah, a lot of men do have esteem issues. And I didn't know how confident I was and where it came from until I was on this podcast. And that's why I say a lot of times this podcast can be therapeutic as well. Yes. Because we had one and we was talking about confidence, and they was like, well, where do you think that confidence came from? And I said, hell, I was born with it. And then the guy say, nah, you don't think your parents instilled that in you as a child? And then I started thinking, they used to preach, people are going to talk about you, whether you this and whether you that. They're going to do this, they're going to be that, long as you know who you are and what you stand for. And I was taught this in Head Start. And so I say, damn, that's where that came from. But all this time until the podcast, I was saying, man, I'm just born with it, man. I know who I am, blah, blah. No, it came from my parents saying, you're this and you're that and da-da, da-da-da.
And Black, I think that it was reinforced when we started hanging out, because we put ourselves at a high esteem. We looked at ourselves and a high esteem. We didn't care what anyone else thought. Hell, we thought we was the best looking dudes out there. We did what we did. And I mean, and until I found the love of my life, there wasn't a woman out there that I thought I couldn't get.
That you couldn't get. And we talking, and Chanel, we're talking celebrities, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. And then when we go to these parties, where the celebs at, we in VIP, and the celebrities talking to us. The women like, who are you and what do you do? And we just sitting there like treating them like they regular, because that's how we carried out. We carried ourselves like that. And like you say, that confidence and that esteem was in there. It's like when we step in there, we used to actually compete. Who gonna pull the better looking one?
Right.
Man, I got this number. You can't tell. Hey, you can't. You wouldn't even be able to breathe on this one. And then he'll go and pull something. Nah, nigga, I got this one. And then so that kept our esteem. We was going back and forth, tug of war. But we went after the best looking one that everybody else was scared to talk to. They mumbling, man, look. We'll walk right over there.
Yeah.
Boom. And they were like, how he get? Y'all wasn't saying that. And then when we were growing up,
the first time they just give up.
They used to always tell us, y'all actually look good to be dark skinned guys.
Oh my God. No, they did not.
Y'all cute to be dark skinned. Because at that time, the high yellows were
in style back then.
El DeBar. Al B. Sure. And so they was like, y'all actually cute to be dark skinned guys. And so we were already in the in crowd. And then when Tay Diggs and Morris Chestnut and them just played in,
they
we just soared then, So.
Yeah.
But but like we say, the bottom line is, I guess, in today's society, when we were coming up, they preached to the women to be selective. My mom told my sister to be selective. And we was just taught that conservative, woman be conservative. And now I guess, as the generation, trip, everybody's doing them.
From the beginning of y'all, because I wasn't on in the beginning, I think the being selective and conservative didn't work. They got us in bad spaces. They left us with babies. They left us by ourselves. They left us lonely. It didn't work.
And being selective, it breaks you. It takes a lot of the pool out that you would probably connect to better.
Yeah.
So when be selective in the type what you like. Have your standards. Have your selected standards that you like. But be open-minded to other things and other people, because you may not know what you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When you say other people, what do you mean? Like other races of people, other other types of people?
Just different types of people, personality types, physical types.
Yeah, see, he and I had to learn that, because coming up, it was certain people we didn't talk to. Had we didn't come up in that selective box thing, we probably missed out on the best things ever. But it was just certain ones. We only went after the so-called top tier in the city. But it was a lot of ones that was right below that we would just walk right by. Boy, she live in such and such. Boy, look at how look at her house. Look at that house. We were, and so we had to break from that as we got older. But we, like y'all say, you miss out on a whole lot when you're so selective in that box. She has to have this type of education. She has to drive this type of car. She has to have this type of job. She has to make this much money. You're limiting yourself, and then you putting yourself in a box, and you're going to miss out on a person that could be the best thing you ever met in life, just because she's in between jobs, just because the car she had is totaled out. She's waiting on an insurance claim, and it's going to take a year or so because she's trying to get big money from this claim. So she go buy a cash car, and I'm looking at the little Toyota Corolla she's driving, and I'm like, her car putt. You know, so you're gonna miss out because I'm looking for the Lexus or I'm looking for the BMW.
You know, because when I was in college, I only wanted to date AKAs, and I end up marrying a Delta. So you know what I'm saying?
Top tier, the ones who have the good grades, the debutantes, the star steppers, the cheerleaders, the ones who parents back in the 90s and late 80s made over 80 grand a year. Those were considered the top tier females, the best looking ones, the popular ones, the ones that all the others envied or wanted to be like. So yeah, you missed out on a whole. We would miss out on it because the ones who was just there or you know wasn't mentioned. And I think maybe our junior year we started realizing that other people were cool, and we started just experimenting because there's only so many top tiers. So then you'd be like, okay, well, she's cute. So we would talk to them, let them take the little bonnet down. Now hair down, we'll show up at a party with them. And now every guy ready to holler at them now. But at first, because she was wearing that dress, wearing the bonnet, she was Pentecostal or something. And then nobody pay her no mind. And now we take her to a party with her hair down and some jeans. And boy, and now everybody want to talk to her. So yeah, you got to get out the box. If we in a box, we stuck. You limiting your choices. And so yeah, that I could see that being a disadvantage to the women trying to be conservative, and our grandparents, our grandparents and parents put women in a box because you know grandmama, you know, big mama, one man, 7 kids. You know what I'm saying? Stay at home, cook, clean. She didn't even have a driver's license. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So my Mimi did not have her driver's license. My papa had a whole extra other kid out there. He was doing his business out in them streets, you know, and Mimi was miserable for a long time. Like that ain't the life I want to live. You know what I'm saying?
So
just like
to take the
like you say, when women have more choices back then. Back then, women didn't have the choices, and
yeah, we got choices.
He made that clear on a previous podcast. Just my opinion. He said he broke it down too because he said back then the opportunities weren't there.
Right.
So of course you had more faithful women, more loyal women, but like you just stated, our grandfathers were creating children on our side, buying cars on our side, buying houses on this side. Big Mama didn't know up until
she knew, but there was no other opportunity for her to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So if he's the breadwinner and he's the one that's paying all the bills, and I don't have any income, if I leave him, what do I do? Especially if women is not in the workforce, then you know, and it's frowned upon for us to, I don't know, drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there was no other choices there, right? And so now women are choosing different.
So look at the different. Yeah, so we can look at the different mindsets from then to now. So my grandmother, who had this story that she told, one of her friends walked in on her granddaughter and this guy having sex, and the girl was on top, and she said, "Baby, you know they didn't know what they was doing because she was on top."
That's a mindset.
So that's what I'm saying. They only knew one particular mindset, which was missionary.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm sure lots of orgasms did not come forth with that one mindset.
Right. Man,
you know,
just
like you was talking about before, women who haven't had orgasms and are not pleased and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, we grew up in a society that says we ain't supposed to be. You know, like we're not supposed to enjoy even when y'all said certain things on here, like some women just enjoy sex. Well, duh. Why wouldn't we? You know what I'm saying? We got sex organs. So we enjoy sex just like men enjoy sex and all. But this stigma that we're not supposed to be, and we're not supposed to be satisfied and all that kind of stuff. Like that societal norm is jacking us up.
But let me ask you this. Chanel, honestly, and we know you, woman, you know,
bullshit, baby.
We know you pro-woman, but let me ask you this. Majority of the women that are promiscuous like that, do they really expect to get married? Are those the ones looking to get married? A lot of them.
I don't know.
Are they just satisfied with this?
I have no clue. I have no clue what exactly, because each one is so individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like Jay said, some people do what they do because of trauma. Some people enjoy sex and want to have sex. You know, I had a breakout moment after I had a bad heartbreak, and I was like, I'm just gonna do me because niggas ain't shit, you know. And for me, it was a matter of grabbing a hold to not just my sexual freedom, but my power and my control over my body, right? Because this person who I committed myself with, who I was faithful to, who I wanted to be in it with, was out here doing his thing and screwing whoever he wanted to, right?
Wow.
And here I am doing the right thing and wanting to be with him, right? And so that wrenched my heart, you know. And so I had to take myself back, right? I had to grab a hold of who I am and decide, you know what, I'm going to decide if I decide to do it and who I decide to do it with, right? And I'm going to make the rules, right?
So did he changed you once he hurt you? He changed you from the faithful woman that he did.
I was in control of myself.
Okay.
Because what happened was something that I allowed.
But you were being faithful. You've done your part.
Right.
So did you have knowledge that he was doing this? And if you found out, what did you do?
I didn't have proof, but in my heart I had knowledge. I had, you know, I tell women all the time, you got intuition. You got intuition. You know.
Good girl gone bad.
But then, like I said, depending on what your circumstance is and depending on where your self-esteem level is. And for me, I was trying to stay out of my mama's house. I wasn't trying to go back. Yeah. So when I look back up on it, I can see where, oh man, okay, I made some decisions because of some other things. Right. Yeah. And I chose to look the other way, or I chose to stay in something under that hope and that, I know he's selling me a dream, but I'm just going to believe it because I don't know what's the alternative, right? And all that. And so,
how long were you married?
This wasn't my ex-husband. This was, I was married for 13 years. This was the guy I dated in like when I was like 19, 20.
Okay, and that's where that's where the mindset came from. That first brutal, critical heartbreak that molded your whole mental to where you are now. Okay, yeah, I understand that. I can feel it. I feel it.
I got you. That's when I started learning more about myself, right?
So how did you carry it? How did you carry it into your relationship? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How did you carry it into your relationship with your husband in the marriage?
Once I got ready to get married.
So after the heartbreak.
Okay, after the heartbreak.
And did you get married after this heartbreak? Did you get married after the heartbreak?
He dated for a long time. For in and out of relationships for a long time before she decided she wanted to get married.
Before you decided to go, okay then. Okay, I got
you. That was 2 years of good pimping first. And then, after I'm 50 years old now. That heartbreak was when I was like 19, 20.
Oh, okay. I got you.
And so you have to, after that heartbreak, she had to go through, and I understand it. She had to go through building herself up, creating a new her, because hell, the old her got fucked over. Yeah. So that's hit the rock bottom, and now you got to build. You did everything that mama, grandmama, and great grandmama showed you, and you got fucked over. So now,
she did the right thing by being faithful to that individual. So
she did the right thing, but a heartache, a hurt. If you don't kill yourself, you have to find something to make you realize that it's not you, because she did everything possibly known that
That's
great
not. It wasn't
grandma,
her fault.
grandma,
It
and
wasn't her
mom
fault.
taught her, and she got dogged out. So now what do? I tried what they taught me. So now she got to
But you
create her
keep.
own
But
perception
That don't
of
work.
herself. So she
Right.
has
oh,
to,
okay.
that starting
So
from,
Have
it's
to
like
dig in
you
and
done built
figure
this
out
whole
exactly
house,
what. You
and
know.
somebody come and blow that joker down, and you looking like I had the perfect house. Now you got to go brick for brick, stone for stone, all over again to create a
To
house
create
you really
the
don't know
new
what you're
me.
building.
Right.
so
Right.
there have been a number of women, some that I know personally, that have experienced that heartache, that heartbreak early on in life, 19, 18, 19, 20, whatever it is, and it caused them to harden their hearts
Right.
in order to protect themselves.
Right.
So that's when they became
Okay.
like, shoot, I'm just gonna do me. I'm just gonna be like the
Right.
nigga. I'm not gonna attach myself. Sex is just gonna
To
be sex.
anybody. Right.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah.
now from that
Now,
During
now
that
I
time,
understand
though,
why you the
I
where
learned
you're
about
coming from.
connection. I
Yeah.
learned a lot about men and the fact that they don't just want to have sex. They want connection too. I learned that during that time. Because
Right.
people were still trying to. I created a rule that I didn't want that from you. This is all we do, right? And they still was trying to connect because you can't keep having sex with people over and over again without connection, right? Because I know I'm a cool chick, right? I know I'm nice to hang around and talk to and all that kind of stuff,
Right. Right.
And so, it taught me a whole lot about myself. It taught me a whole lot about other people. During that time, I did meet my ex-husband during that time, and liked him a lot. He met the criteria. He didn't have no kids, and got with him. Still had some issues though. Still had some issues
Right.
within that, and got married because that's why I'm divorced, right? And stuff. And that marriage was 13 years long. And I got divorced, and somebody just asked me how long ago. I got divorced in 2016, and
when did
and there was lots learned within that dynamic too, right?
when did you um start noticing that it may not last? What year?
You want
Oh
me to
yeah,
tell
I'm
the
gonna
truth?
grill you.
If I look back and be for real, like maybe a year in.
What?
Maybe a year
Yeah, and
in.
And
sometimes
you
you even know
sacrificed the
before
whole
then.
Almost a
12?
year in.
See,
And I realized how much people stay in stuff for circumstances and all
Oh,
that, because it was Hurricane Katrina around that time too. Like, and so I'm like, like I don't know if it's gonna work, but again, societal standard and norms say you stick it out regardless. Because if I look back into that, I saw lots of signs of things that we wasn't. This was
Right.
it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a
Right.
lot of stuff and all that.
it was new to you. It was new. That was your first marriage?
Yeah, that's my first marriage. Yeah, that's my
Okay,
only
and
marriage,
being
right?
that you were reared from the grandparents, the parents, once you got married, you wanted it to just be I'm married and I'm gonna
Nobody
stick it
gets
out.
married to get divorced.
Richer off for poor, better for worse, the
Yeah,
vows. You was like, I'm gonna truck it
they
out.
get married to get divorced. They don't. You know what I'm saying? And so you learn to stick it out. You stick it out as long as you possibly can stick it out.
And you're comfortable with the point that the final straw, you're comfortable that you did everything in your power.
Yeah,
So when you walked away, you're comfortable. You was comfortable saying, I can't do this anymore. We
yeah,
can't do
yeah,
this anymore. Both of you
yeah,
all were
absolutely.
comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like I think I waited too long. I think I waited too long
and I
because
think all of us
I
think that.
talk to people a lot about that, and paying attention to those signs and paying attention to yourself, because by the time I got divorced, I felt like I was dying, mentally, spiritually, physically. I just felt like I was dying.
Wow.
Why?
I
Why
don't
did
think
you? Why
anybody
did you
should wait
feel?
to that point, because then that's a lot of rebuilding. That's a whole
Right.
lot of rebuilding after that. When you see the signs, you start addressing the things, right? And you start, you get the therapy, you do the thing. Again, another one of those signs is like, I don't need no therapy. You need therapy. Oh, cool. And so I went to therapy because I'm like, I'm gonna do everything that's within my power, right? And so if two people ain't fighting together, then you can't do anything about it,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And
Just
I
because
like
one
to,
person working
and
toward the goal.
yeah, instead of the word fighting, I like to use working together, because that was the whole thing that we had before. But anyway, that's just a term I like to use. But
I
when
understand,
you
yeah, that makes
start
sense.
when you
Makes sense.
start feeling feeling that smothered. I why did I do this? You get that you can get that feeling early on in the relationship, and then you stay in it because you think things are going to get better or that you can correct these things. Sometimes you start thinking, hey, it's me, there's something I need to work on
Right.
to
Yeah.
make things better. But then
Yeah.
you realize it's not just you, it's the
Right.
both of you,
It's both of us. It's both of
because
us.
we are just not each other's person, and that's okay. So you
Right.
have to be okay with letting go and not
Right.
regretting the time that you spent, but use that as an
Right.
experience to
Yeah.
take into
Because there was
further
a
on
great
in life.
experience in that.
Right.
And
You
that's
know.
where, like
And
you
again,
said on
when
the
I say
previous one,
dying, I mean dying. I had already lost myself, so I felt like I was dying.
Wow.
and that's where lots of communication comes in. You know, if you're not, I say address if you can, but a lot of people are not, because you know your spouse. If I know I'm gonna go to mine and it's gonna get turned around on me, I may be quiet. Or if she feel like if she come to me and I'm gonna brush it off, like I don't want to hear that shit, so she may not say nothing, and then that's gonna stop that communication. And so that's when you lose yourself. That's when you feel like you're dying. But if you start addressing those issues, I don't want to hear it, but goddamn it, you're gonna hear it because you got me in this situation. I didn't even have to be here. We didn't even have to get married. We didn't even have to have no kids. We didn't even have to get this house. We didn't have to get this car. So you finna listen to me because you fucked my life up when I got with you. I didn't have to be with you. We chose to be together. So now we finna choose to listen to each other.
But you
So
cannot
at
force.
some point, someone has to put their foot down to get that communication so you can decide early on. Because like I preach, you cannot get that time back. Money, we can make money back.
You make money
but that
again.
damn 13 years is gone.
Yeah.
That 20 years, gone.
Yeah.
And it's nothing you can do when you could have been spending your life with somebody who was more equally yoked with you.
Right.
But instead, you're trying to fight this out with somebody who don't even.
It's a waste of time. It was still a
waste
great
of time.
experience.
So I preach that all the time. If you're
But
not happy,
you cannot make anyone
leave.
listen to you.
You
cannot make anyone
we
listen
have those
to you.
conversations.
You cannot.
Right. And so when they don't want to listen, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Text
So when they
message,
don't want to
letters,
listen,
talks.
when they don't want to listen, that's when it's time to call it quits. So if they don't want to communicate to save, like you say, if they don't want to do what it takes to get back together, then it's time that it's already over. Because I can't be with nobody who don't want to listen to me.
That's right.
And you should want to be with nobody who don't want to listen. Y'all shut up. I don't want to hear that.
Before we signed papers, we went through counseling, a lot of counseling. We went to several different counselors.
That's awesome.
But at the end of the day, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work.
You got to be honest about it.
Yeah. And that's why I say they have to communicate. And a lot of times we know, because God gives us senses. Yes. We know that person is not gonna work. We know that person is not for us. But a lot of times we get caught in on the beginning stages. How we met, how much fun we had before how much love was there before the I do's. And once you get caught up in that, like you said, like Austin said, when you get caught up in that, you be thinking and hoping we're going to get back to that space. We're just going through this now. And like Chanel did for 12 years, it was like that first hit of crack. She's like, I know this man loves me.
Like, come on.
I know this man loves me. We were so perfect. That's the only reason we said I do.
Right.
Why am I going through this? It's just a trial. Lord, then you turn to the Lord. Lord, give me the strength. Lord, da, da, da. Once you say that, though, God gonna show you every damn sign that you don't want to see that person is not for you. Because I did that before. God, okay, let me know if this person for me. What the hell I say that for? Man, every time I turned around, I couldn't stand that Waka Flocka. I'm talking about when I go around, I'm talking about I was feeling it was burning right here just to be in the presence of that person. Ooh. So you have to be careful of what you ask for, especially when you're in one connection with the Creator. Because when I said that, because I was like, okay, before I even think about marriage, is this the person for me? Man, when I asked that question, I couldn't. In less than a year, I couldn't stand that Waka Flocka.
You
I
know,
couldn't stand it. I mean, I got out of that joker so damn fast that I left everything at the house.
the best piece of advice that a counselor gave me, she said, "Stop thinking that you're so damn great that you
That you
can
can change
change
somebody.
someone."
Come on, baby. That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
She
If you
said,
feel
Yeah,
like we
you
can
can't change them. I learned that.
Can't nobody change you but you. That's it.
And we all fell in
And
that
that was my
because
thing. I saw potential. I saw what he could be. I saw all these things, but I was like, but if he don't see it, then it don't matter.
right.
It doesn't matter.
And that's when I started preaching to people. You cannot change nobody. They are who they are, especially when they 35 plus, 40. You cannot, you're not going to change nobody. They're not even going to listen to you. So don't even waste your breath.
They have
They
to choose
are who
themselves
they
if
are.
they want that change. It's not that they can't change, it's that they have to want it, so they have to do it.
Right.
Period.
And they have to want it for themselves, not for you. Don't
Not for
say,
you.
oh,
Yep,
I
not
stopped
for
smoking crack because you didn't want me to. No, you stopped smoking that shit because you didn't want to smoke.
That's
Don't
right.
quit for me. I stopped going to the club because you didn't want me going. No. Go to the club. Because you know, when they do that for you, they're gonna blame you when they can't go. 5 years up the road, 2 years up the road, I stopped for you. If I was still stripping and at the pole, look, I could be like Cardi B now, but I stopped for you. I was hanging with Cardi B and but I stopped going to the club because of you. Now it's your fault. So that person has to want to change for themselves. They have to want to growth. The growth have to come. It has to be them. I don't want nobody to stop nothing for me.
Right.
Nothing.
So,
If you're an alcoholic, keep drinking that shit till you get out your system, then come see me. If you're a hoe, keep doing all that hoeing you're doing. If you get that out your system and I'm still available and I'm still interested in you, come back and see me. But don't say I stopped for you.
So that's why I always say that if you get with someone that you like, accept them for where they are and be okay if they don't grow.
That's right.
Yep. That's it. Because if they doing it for you, on down the road, it's gonna be a huge problem.
And when you see yourself growing and they're not growing,
time to go.
Pay attention to that. Pay
No,
attention
it's
to
not
that.
time.
And
It's
be
not
ready to
time
cut
to
yourself
go.
loose.
Yeah, it's not always time to go. But you have to
pay attention.
realize that they are where they are, and you have to be okay with them staying where they are.
Right.
You
and if
elevate
you're
yourself.
uncomfortable with that, and you know that that's not where you know what you want,
trying to be,
you gotta be okay with letting go.
That's right.
You gotta be okay with it. I mean, because who want to stay in something, especially a marriage? Now, the people that just living together and they stay together 13, 14, you brought that on yourself, and chances are you were cheating, they cheating, y'all just keeping a roof over the head, y'all roommates. But once you marry and you stay in that relationship 13 years and you're married, that's the heartbreaking when you didn't wasted all that damn time with all the signs you had to get out of it.
Right.
That's why you got to be okay with the let go.
Right. No, all the signs you had not to go into it.
That too. But once you're in it, it's time to get out of it. Because no, a lot of people can snow you in and make you think they're the best thing since sliced bread.
Absolutely.
And then once you get in that, then you find out the dirty secrets of what skeleton bone will fall out their closet. And so now you done married that person. So now you got to say, okay, I done went down this aisle. I done done all this. So then that's when you're trying to do everything you can to fulfill the vow to stay in it. But then at some point, if we're not going, I'm not going to stay in no relationship where I'm not comfortable in. I'm not going to live in a house with somebody who I'm not comfortable laying my head and going to sleep. I can't do that. So we're going to come to the table, wake up 3 a.m. Hey, we need to talk. I'm unhappy. This is the fourth night I ain't been able to sleep. Are we going to keep going through this or what? I mean, especially now, because one thing COVID taught all of us, that you can die any given Sunday.
Come on.
Any given day you can pass. And you don't want to be in something that you're miserable in, and you have the power, the will, and the choice to change it. So when it gets that damn bad, baby, we finna sit and talk. I'll help you get on your feet, because I want my happiness. I want my peace of mind. I will help you get on your feet. How much would it take for you to move and get you a place? I'll pay the bills up for 3 to 6 months. Whatever. But I can't stay in no relationship where I'm not comfortable when I lay my head at night.
And
I don't give a damn.
That's where sometimes that pride comes in.
Yeah.
And it says that I can change this.
Oh no.
I can make this happen. I can do this.
Oh no.
But in the end, you still end up with no peace, and you still end up signing those papers.
Yep. Which is the best thing.
Yep, because you realize change does not come unless both people are willing to do some changing and some accepting.
Yep.
Yeah. And the key part to that, and when people would come to me with their relationship and marital problems, the first thing I break down to them is I say, something made you marry that person.
That's right.
Something made you say you love that person. Where did it fall off at? Sit back and think. Where within your journey, within y'all journey, did it go? Then they'll sit back. Oh, when he went over such and such, or when she was texting such and such, and that's where what. And guess what? They didn't address that situation where that situation didn't get a closure. So that person's still thinking every time she's texting somebody, it's who she could be texting her sister. He's gonna think it's the guy who he talked to year before last, who popped back up in town, who she seen at Walmart. Because that one incident gonna play in the back of his head, and especially with women, you guys will see something and a forgiver guy say you forgive them, but soon as a similar situation or argument it comes right back to the front. Boom. Well, when you did such and such, how I know you ain't texting Sheila. You know, we like, I thought you said you understood Sheila was a friend. You told me don't text her no more. I didn't. Well, I know you ain't texting her now. You know, and so once that trust factor gets broke, I think that's when a lot of the relationships begin to crumble, because once you lose trust, I think on a bridge, the foundation is trust, especially in today's relationship. That trust, once that trust break, is hell to even stay in it. You'll forgive them because you love them, your heart is in it, your time is in it, but any given day, you'll wake up in the middle of the night, usually between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. You'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, damn, I'm wondering what's going on. You look at the phone, you want to see how they text anybody. You know, sometimes, you know, it's just like that trust is hell. And men, a lot of good men, I say good men don't, especially that know themselves, that's confident in themselves, they don't really have trust issues. They have being played like a fool issue.
Years.
You know,
it's more of that. You don't have trust issues.
A lot of people end up getting married off an illusion of love.
Oh my gosh, yes.
What they think is love, or what they want to appear, what love appears to as them. And they think that they can form this into a marriage.
Right.
And it doesn't work. That illusion becomes a nightmare and a disaster. So you have to make sure that you not just love this person, but that you are in love with this person in order for a marriage to truly work.
And a lot of them don't understand the difference in being in love with a person and loving a person. And that's why I say that loyalty plays a big part in that relationship. If you're loyal, that's more of a in love compared to just loving a person. You know, you can love a pet.
You can.
But to actually be in love with somebody, you'll literally put your life on the line for that person. Now that's in love. So it's a difference.
Like,
a lot of people don't.
How would you describe loyalty?
Loyalty? like I say, love fades. Loyalty is they got your back, whether they're in front of you, away from you. They wouldn't do anything to harm you. They're honest, trustworthy. It's no secret, transparent.
Yeah.
They'll never speak down on you. Like loyalty. Let's just say the wife and I done had a bitter breakup, and I mean a bitter argument, and she's talking to her mom. The mom should never know what we're going through. That's between us. That's loyalty. Now, as soon as I leave, that bastard left. That motherfucker think I'm a fool. And I know he doing such and such, girl, because I seen this. And then when I go around those friends, they all looking at me. I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? They looking like, yeah, motherfucker, we know what you did. So that's not loyalty. Loyalty is that's between you two, and it is what it is. That's my thing. Trustworthy, and
I think it goes even deeper than that. You have to be truly selfless to be in love. You have to be able to accept a lot of things when you're in love, and you're in love never wavers and never falters. If you just love someone, then yes, your love can fade.
Yeah, that's no fade.
But when you're in love with someone, then you're not going to do anything to hurt that person.
Right.
So you have that loyalty, you have that trust, you have that caring, because whatever hurts that person hurts you even more.
Right.
So even the thought of doing something that would cause you to lose that person, you stray away from, because it would destroy your heart so bad that you can even phantom being without them, or seeing them hurt to the point that they're emotionally destroyed. You never want to see them hurt. You just want to see them smiling on their face and in their heart. Always.
Yeah. And I preach that.
And that reminds me of a TikTok sound that's going around that says, if hurting me does not hurt you, then you don't love me. And that's true. It's very, very true.
And that's why I preach a lot of times in relationships, they're not as complicated as people make them. Just don't do to that person that you don't want them to do to you. That's the key. That's the key. If you don't want me being deceitful, then you don't be deceived. You don't want me talking to females, friends, you don't have male friends. Whatever you don't want, don't do it to your mate.
Right.
That's one of the steps to making that thing work. And like you say, if it hurts that mate, it should bother you.
It should bother you.
And that's where the being friends before lovers, because you don't want to hurt your friend. You want to see your friend excel. You want to see your friend prosper. So if they're your friend, then you fall in love with them or get in a relationship with them. That's a different vibe than I met you. You look good. The sex is good. The physical is there. Let's get together. Then you get together. Now you're trying to learn this person, trying to get to be, get to that point. We're gonna grow to love each other. No, that has to be someone who you feel like you're bonding with, who you would give your last to. And if you're not willing to do that, I don't feel like you need to even pursue that relationship. Y'all just stay better off friends. And it's okay to have better off friend relationships. Everybody is not for you to marry. Everybody is not for you to have children with. Everybody's not for you to bond with. So it's okay to be okay with just being friends, because everybody don't fit, what you're looking for in life. But a lot of people don't understand that. We were going together since high school. Well, we got 2 kids together, so I guess we'll go and get married. Yeah, but you can't stand them. He was messing on me in high school.
Might as well.
Yeah, they got married on the May as well. Are they living together on the May as well?
Right.
And
amen, Reverend.
To everyone, I appreciate the time. My wife has made it home, so I'm about to go spend some time.
We about to land this plane.
He's gonna clear the room.
Yeah, we're about to clear it. We're gonna reset the room.
Just my opinion.
Yeah, we resetting the room. We want to thank everybody that came tonight. And Chanel, Rich, Black, Jay Austin. Man, I really enjoyed myself. I kind of sit
James
back.
Johnson,
James Johnson,
Quita.
Nikita Glass, James Johnson, and the other
Castasia.
young lady. Yeah, okay, all right. We want to thank everybody for coming out, man. We're gonna land this plane. It's Chanel. You gotta keep coming on. So I get quiet,
man. I love
because I get quiet because I'm sitting back learning. So I don't have too much to say. I just want to sit back and learn.
Shout out to Jay Benton.
So we want to shout out everybody that came on. We're gonna get some closing remarks. We're gonna start with you, Black. What up, Tommaso? I see you, Tommaso. What's up, Maso? Go ahead, Black.
With this, like I say, women can, be comfortable these days being them, doing them, and who they are or how they represent themselves. If that's not what you want, just don't pick them. Don't. I'm learning that you really can't just judge, because it's judging at the end of the day. You really can't judge no one, especially these days, for doing what they're doing, because at the end of the day, it's survival now, and it's pleasing yourself, being happy with who you are, feeling good in your own skin. Right. So, with that being said, us as men, even though we were taught this and taught that, the judging has to be removed, as I'm learning. Because I got to tell people, I thirst for knowledge, and I got no problem correcting my train of thought if I get a good reason to correct my train of thought. But yeah, I feel like if women want to be promiscuous, they want to be what we call hoes. You can't change a hoe to a housewife. Then don't try that. That's just not for you. But that doesn't mean that person is the scum of the earth. That person shouldn't have their right to do what they want. So that's my take on this new sexual crave. It's not something I'm used to seeing, because my aunts and everything, they preached the body is the temple. Shouldn't everybody have your goods? And give a man something to work for. If a man can get something easy, men respect things that they can get that takes work to get quicker than they do something that's easy. And if you're trying to get married, that woman has to represent. If they say the woman represents the man, she's a spinoff of you. She's your better half. But if your better half is a hoe and everybody know, how does that make you look? So it's just, it's a bunch of, in that, but that just means that person is not for you. That doesn't mean that they're a bad person. That doesn't mean they're making mistakes. I'm learning that that's just not for you. And, let people do them. It's not about, people these days are not caught up. We were taught image is everything. Perception is everything. But nowadays, because people dying left and right more quicker than what they were in the 90s and in the late 80s, people's like, hell, shit, I'm finna live my life. I don't give a damn what the preacher say. I don't give a damn how the church look at me. Hell, I ain't got to go to church. And unless people are going. So it's not about image. People are living their lives for who they are, who they want to be, and what they want to be now. So it's so that way of thinking, we have to lift up, but at the same note, if you have values, you have standards, stick to your values and your standards. So them being promiscuous and being looked at, I just feel like let people be them. And if they're not your cup of tea, don't sip out of the cup. That's just me.
That's what's up, Jay.
Well, love who you want to love. Love as many people as you want to love. Do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, remember, you have to deal with whatever comes out of that. Be smart about what you're doing. Protect yourself. Protect your life. And know that, again, whatever you're doing, there is a consequence to that. So there's a consequence to sleeping with a lot of different men, a lot of different women. There are diseases that come out of that. There are emotional traumas that come out of that. So you have to protect yourself physically and mentally and emotionally. And just use your head, use sense, the sense that God gave us, the Creator gave us. And don't try to be like the crowd. Distinguish yourself in a way that is pleasing to you, whatever that way is. Don't allow yourself to be placed in a box. Be who you are. Stay outside of the box. Live outside of the box.
Right.
Live your life. But remember, in living your life, you can affect someone else's life.
Right.
Right.
That's
There are consequences. Go ahead.
yeah.
And Chanel.
My best friend have a phrase. This is give no fucks, but do no harm. And I love that phrase because it's the freedom of being yourself, doing you, living your life, but your will should never impose upon other people's will. Right. And so you should have the freedom to be and do whoever, right? Like you should have the freedom to be yourself. You have the freedom to sleep with who you want to sleep with. You have the freedom to be with who you want. But when that affects the other people around you in a negative way, then we got a problem, right? And so that's one thing to be mindful of. I also agree with the adage that there are consequences to sleeping with a bunch of folk. That soul ties and, not just diseases. And like, there are so many consequences to that. But understanding also that our goal every day is to grow. Every day is to grow, which is why, Black, I appreciate you so much. And I keep coming back because of your growth mindset. No matter what is said that I might be offended by, whatever the case may be, or that I might feel like it, but you are a listener, and even just now, I watched you be careful about your wording, right? And stuff like that, which says that you got something out of it, right? And I love being in any space that people are willing to grow and learn, because I haven't arrived either. I listen too, and I learn, right? There are certain things that I'm a therapist. I don't know everything, and I tell my clients that I don't know everything. I'm always open to learn. But the key is every day we should be growing and we should be learning. And in certain stages of our lives, we might do a thing that might be harmful because we ain't got there yet. Black, like you mentioned, you kept mentioning before 25 and stuff. And that's very true, because at 25, your frontal lobe is developed, right? And usually that submits kind of who you are, not meaning you can't grow, not meaning you can't still learn and all that. But what's in there at that point is there, right? And so always be willing to grow and learn and stop not staying stuck in that particular phase. I had my little phase for the purpose that I had it. When it was over, it was over, and stuff. I still have sexual freedom. I can sleep with who I choose, right? But I choose not, right? I choose one person, right? And stuff like that. And so because I want more. I want somebody I can talk to. I want somebody I can converse with. I want somebody I can laugh with and hang out with and understands me and I understand. So my desires, at 50 years old is different. It's different, right? And so then what I was trying to figure out before marriage and even learn about myself within marriage, right? And stuff. And through that, I developed me and who I am now, who I feel like is a better person, right? And stuff. And I use everything before that to, like, I never say, oh, I wasted 13 years. And that was a learning experience, right? Because it wasn't a waste of time. There's so much that came from that, even the new birth of me and learning who I am, right? But my pimping phase taught me some things too, right? And so I never negate any experiences. I never negate like all of it's learning, all of it's learning. And so and in my practice and in my lifestyle and how I navigate this world, there has to be love and acceptance of people, period. Right? Meet people where they at, accept people for who they are. We're not trying to change folks. We're trying to help them grow, but they got to choose it. Right. And so, which is why the premise of my practice is the power of choices and the power of healthy relationships, because those two things intertwine and they make everything better. So I appreciate everybody's ability to be able to grow and learn, and I'm happy to be here every week.
Okay, brother, what you got for us?
Yeah, I just want to say, my view is, human beings have a free will, so you choose to do what you want. Allah gave us that ability. But what I tell Black is that be honest with the person that you're dealing with.
That's right.
If you're that type of person that you sleep around, you have multiple partners, this person ain't the only one, be fair to that person.
That's right.
If you feel this person is got feelings for you, but your lifestyle is to save that person's heartache, because what have happened to you, don't place that on other. They say hurt people hurt people. Mm-hmm. So if you be honest with that person and say, hey, this, that, and the third, this is what this is. Hey, this is my lifestyle. And if that person choose to follow that with you, then they got to respect whatever happens. So because the type of person I am, I like family structure. I'm not the type of person, this, that, and the third, body count, none of that. I always was raised in a family structure. So I want to be a husband, be a father. That's just my life and what I want to do. But if you're the type of woman, that you get down like that, let me know that's what you want to do, so I can make the decision if I want to move forward, or if it's not me, men like me that want a family. Just be honest with that man, and that'll save you some heartache, and that'll save him some heartache. So that's what I want to say.
I agree.
And those soul ties are real. Those soul ties are real. It can cause a lot of psychological damage.
Yes.
I dealt with a woman that had men she was in love with, and you're not. You can be single physically, but not singleness in heart.
Come on, Jay.
So if you don't have singleness in heart, you still got other men tied up in you. Mm-hmm. You can't give me your love because you still tied up with that person over there. Though he's gone and married and got children, you still in love with that man, and I can't get that love that you want. So that's the thing that I'm looking for. So
and I appreciate Chanel on that too, because I like that, because that's me all day.
And I'm not here to judge nobody.
Don't give a fuck, but don't do no harm.
Don't hurt nobody.
You know what I'm saying? That's me. That's my new motto. I'm probably gonna put that on the shirt.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you too, Chanel and Quita. What is it? Just my opinion, Phantom J. But yeah, we out. Next week's gonna be interesting too. It's just something I just want to know, because I'm not gonna say what it's gonna be, but we'll all know. But it's gonna be interesting, because I'm just looking at how the world is moving, and a lot of the values that we were taught are slowly fading away, and it's the world is just different. The people in the world is different. So we're gonna it's gonna be something that a question I'm gonna put out there. So I'm probably gonna put it out probably Monday instead of Tuesday. I'll put it out Monday, and we'll go from there.
Word.
But we spoke on it. It's happening, so we might as well speak on it.
That's what we're gonna do, and we're finna touchdown. Thanks everyone for coming out. We out.
Peace.